People who are reborn into the middle 3 levels of birth are able to know a few months in advance when they are going to pass away. Again, they may leave this world standing or seated. In the lower level, people will know several days in advance of their death, but they may become ill before their time of death. People reaching the state of one mind undisturbed have even higher abilities. There are 2 levels of one mind undisturbed: mindfulness and enlightenment. These levels are not achievable by ordinary people like us in one lifetime, whereas constant mindfulness is. Therefore, in this lifetime, we can attain the state of constant mindfulness in which we will have the ability to pass away at ease, to leave whenever we wish. This is to be reborn into the higher 3 levels of birth, into the land where both sages and ordinary beings dwell together, and to carry our remaining karma along with us. The Master told Liao Fan that he should care for his health and conserve his energy and spirit, because Liao Fan liked to sit up all night and did not know how to take care of himself. He needed to pay special attention to caring for his health and energy. Live as if everything in the past dissolved yesterday, and a brand new future begins today. If you can accomplish this, then you are a person born anew, a person of virtue and sincerity. Everything that happened yesterday is in the past. Do not dwell on it. If we do, it is as if we have committed or undergone them again. To do so will leave additional impressions in the alaya consciousness. Therefore, let bygones be bygones and forget them. The important thing is to correct what is in the present and what will be in the future. Doubts and regrets are afflictions that are conditions or causes of grief and distress that disturb the body and mind. The Buddha taught us not to dwell on the past. We read in Mr. Yo's commentary that this is the key to changing destiny for the perfect people. The perfect people are those with higher levels of wisdom and who are awakened. There are 6 steps to accomplish this, beginning from the need to cultivate and accumulate merits and virtues, and culminating in becoming a person born anew, a person of virtue and sincerity. These are the keys to changing destiny. Mr. Yo said in his commentary, "The first step in changing destiny is to correct our faults, to brush away all the accumulated bad habits one by one, and to pull out the roots of our problems one by one. At all times and in all places, to be constantly vigilant of our every thought, word and act. We restrain and discipline ourselves. We protect our innocence and the virtuous self as we would a newborn baby. The full responsibility for changing destiny is in our hands, not in the hands of heavenly or enlightened beings. People of utmost virtue are no longer bound by destiny. We need to be strict with ourselves. If we constantly forgive ourselves, we will limit our futures. However, while we are exacting and stern with ourselves, we ought to be generous and lenient with others. We need to protect those who are pure, virtuous and innocent. What is innocence? It is to not have any selfish thoughts. If we constantly have wandering thoughts, then we lose our innocent, true and pure minds. The responsibility for changing what is predetermined is entirely up to us. Once we understand the truth about recreating our futures, we will no longer need to ask fortune tellers what the future holds. We can carefully reflect to know what it is supposed to be and how to change it. Knowing this, others would no longer be able to deceive us. Previously, Master Yungu told Liao Fan about people who were of the utmost virtue. In the Pure Land Sutras, we learn that they live in the Pure Land. people of utmost virtue are able to feel regret and reform. In the Western Pure Land, they do so daily until there is nothing left that requires correction. Then they become Buddhas. Even the highest level bodhisattvas still have faults. What kind? They still have one degree of ignorance yet to be broken through. If equal enlightenment bodhisattvas still need to regret and reform, we can imagine how much we need to do. From now on, we need to have the compassionate heart to feel remorse and change for the better. Even upon reaching the level of equal enlightenment bodhisattvas, we will still need to do this. Only when there is nothing left to correct will we become Buddhas. We cannot attain supreme enlightenment if we still have one remaining fault. Enlightenment is to know and correct our faults. Bodhisattvas are enlightened sentient beings. We are also sentient beings, but are unenlightened since we do not know our faults, and thus do not know how to correct them. We believe that we are already correct. We question, do I have any faults? And think for a long time without finding any. Thus, it is said that ordinary people do not have faults, while bodhisattvas have many. They constantly watch over their every thought, word and deed, knowing that they have many shortcomings, continuously correcting them, and doing so for 3 great eons. When we think about how many faults there can be, how can we possibly think that as ordinary people we do not have any? What is the difference between enlightened and unenlightened? One who knows that they have many faults is an enlightened being, a bodhisattva. One who does not know they possess numerous faults is unenlightened, an ordinary person. Bodhisattvas are not deities, but are beings who know their faults and constantly strive to correct them. If we were to improve, not only would we correct our faults, but we would also give rise to the vows of Buddha Amitabha, and this would be the most remarkable way of changing our destinies. We recite the Infinite Life Sutra daily to be very familiar with it, but this is only the initial step. The second step is to use the sutra as a mirror, reflecting once with each recitation to make a comparison and to find our faults. By looking at reflections in a mirror, we can see what parts are soiled and immediately clean them. To clean is to correct. We recite the sutra to find the pollution in our mind that we are not yet aware of. The sutra is like a mirror that sees and reflects what parts of our minds have faults, so that we may immediately correct them. Therefore, we initially become familiar with the sutra, and then we accord with its teachings. In cultivation, first we give rise to vows. We need to think carefully if we have given rise to the 48 vows of Buddha Amitabha, to adopt these vows as our own, and to be of one heart and vow with him. Then we will be the same as him and become his manifestation. He is our role model to help us to mould and transform ourselves to be the same as him. This is to be of one mind, one heart and one vow. How could we not be reborn into the Pure Land when our hearts and vows are the same as his? When this happens, we will think, speak and act the same as Buddha Amitabha as we relate to other people and circumstances. Become constantly mindful of Buddha Amitabha and always remember to encourage others to chant Amitofo.